guys, I'm Bella, the maker mama boss lady behind Bella's Custom Crochets, and this is episode 26 of my podcast. I am a crochet designer. That is my husband in the background doing some sort of role-playing nerd game night thing with his friends and having a good old time at it. And yes, this is a podcast about mostly crocheting, a little bit of knitting. I'm a crochet designer. I obviously have a bi-weekly podcast here on YouTube, as well as a blog and Instagram and all the things. You can find all the links to me down below, and if you happen to like it and fancy wanting more of me in your life, you can subscribe to this channel. If you are new, I appreciate you checking me out. I hope you stick around, and if you are coming back, I always appreciate you. Thank you. So that's my intro spiel that's ever-changing. First, let's talk about this awesome hoodie, or sweatshirt thing. It's awesome. Guys, I love it so much. Can you see what it says? It says Crochet at Home Mom. That's amazing. Crochet at Home Mom. I love it so much. So this is from Kelsey of Crafting for Weeks. I don't know if she has this exact one in her Etsy shop still, because she launched it maybe about 2 weeks ago. I think I ordered it right after the last podcast. But she's had other crochet-related, maker-related? I think mostly crochet-related things in her Etsy shop. She is a crochet designer, and she runs a blog and kind of like a collaboration blog, and she's fantastic. And she's also from where we used to live in Washington, which I think is really fun. So, yes. Crochet at Home Mom. That is the perfect description of what I am, basically, other than I do it as a career. But yeah, I don't know about you, but I always have a really hard time with, like, they call it like your elevator pitch, like that 2-minute spiel of what it is that you do, and you should be able to describe your job. I'm really bad at telling people what I do because people are really confused by crochet designer. Even if you say knitwear designer, they're like, for Kohl's? Or, like, I don't know why they assume Kohl's, but, yeah, Project Runway, like, designer. Blogger doesn't really seem to be my career choice. Crocheter is really confusing. I don't know. Give me down below how you tell people what it is that you do, if you do this as a job career, not just a hobby. Even if you do, like, how do you explain to people? Well, I crochet and I talk about myself on the internet and I share a bunch of yarn pictures with people. Somehow this is a career choice. So, Crochet at Home Mom. Because I'm a mom first and a boss lady second. I think it's so appropriate and I love it. I'm not normally a, whatever this style of like 90s sweatshirt situation is. But this is just too perfect and it's amazing. In case you're curious, I got the size small. I kind of wish I got a medium because they tend to shrink up and I like to not have to be pulling down the shirt over my belly. But yeah, I love it. No complaints. And I'm going to make sure that I wash it and dry it according to the instructions, because I know sometimes these ones get like sticky and then peel or something, but I think it should be good. I'll let you know if anything changes. But yes, go check out Crafting for Weeks, because yes. Okay, so that, I don't know if that was an ad. That was really the acquiring section, but it kind of jumped in the front here because I wanted to talk about this. Normally I'm wearing something I made, but here we are. So we will jump into the design section, I guess. I have a couple things to share with you. Move my notes and stuff over there. Okay. So I showed you this last time in progress. And now it's finished and it's like living its best life. And I don't want to take that from it. You'll see in a second. I'll pop in pictures of it without all of its bejewelment. But I finished. I don't know if you can see it hanging out over here. I finished what is going to be the next dandelion stitch project in my dandelion stitch obsession. Dandelion stitch is what I call my modified version of star or daisy stitch. I've used it in 2 other patterns, my dandelion dance shawl and dandelion dreams baby blanket. This is going to be the dandelion drops wall hanging. You can kind of see what's already happened to it. So I designed it because my daughter has a bazillion and 2 bows, and I meant to actually count before doing this podcast to give you a tally because it's a lot of bows. This is not the only wall hanging that is housing bows, but we needed another one. So I had the yarn that I'll show you in a second in my stash for a long time. I had originally planned on making a top with it. It's this one. I'm so bad at this backwards pointing. This one back here. It's a cotton chainette, but it's worsted weight, and I think I had planned on making a top, like a summer tank or something with it, but then it was worsted weight cotton, and I was like, that's probably going to be too warm and like weird. So it's been sitting back there for forever, and I just love the color, and it's amazing. So yeah, it became obviously something dandelion-y because of the amazing yellow, and now it's a wall hanging with bows. So it obviously doesn't have to be for bows. This is what I'm using it for, but we'll make sure we got pictures in so you can see it without the bows, because there is some really beautiful stitches under there. You can kind of see. She lovely. And then this is I was on the hunt for the perfect stick to hang it on last time, and my mother happened to have some birch sticks. So we cut this one down to size, and it's perfect. But you could definitely use any old stick you can find in your woods, or a fancy stick that you can find at your hardware store. So yeah, I'm going to be working on this one for a springtime release. I definitely used a hairbrush to make this fringe behave, and it was my hairbrush, and I'm not ashamed of it. Not that I can make my hair behave, as we all know, but I tried. So the fringe goes all the way down, and it's got this nice diagonal to it, and yeah, I think it's really cute. And my daughter has another black wall hanging in her bedroom that has some other bows. In case you're wondering, the majority of these, all the ones that are shaped like this, and the ones that are shaped like these little knots, are all from Turbans for Tots. These ones, I don't remember what, this is the Vintage Dream Bows by Woodland Stitchcraft. These are crocheted out of crochet cotton. But yeah, the most of these are Turbans for Tots on Etsy. She is by far our favorite. Some of these have been gifted to us. Some I bought from other random shops because, hello, pirate bow. Need that. And I just think it looks so cute. I have to confess, should I hang it up over here for the rest of the episode? Maybe. It'll work, right? And the baskets will scoot you over. Totally in the way. Ruining my dangles there. Sure. We'll go with that. I used to nanny for a family that had 3 daughters, and they each had their own room, and in their own rooms they each had like this huge bow wall hanging, and I remember thinking, that's nonsense. Why do they all need their own bows? Why do they even need bows? There's no point for bows. Tomboy. Yeah, then I had a kid, and now I own all the bows. And they're so cute, and I love them. And I like supporting other makers where I can. So if you have a daughter who needs some bows, and actually she makes like head wraps and stuff for like mommy and me, or just women. I think she does some kid sizes. I know she had masks. I don't know if she still has masks, but yeah, Turbans for Tots on Etsy. Amazing. I'll make sure I link her down below. And I should have said, down below is going to be a link to my blog. There will be a show notes link, and it goes over to my blog, and it's going to have everything that I talk about as far as everything that I talk about. Myself, designers, shops, yarns, all that. So the yarn, just to give you an up close, I think this particular color might be discontinued from what I was looking at online, because I did get this a couple years ago. Wool Addicts is by Lang Yarns, and the yarn type is Sunshine. This is made in Italy, apparently, and they're 50-gram balls. Never know what to call this. Is it a ball? I always kind of call it a donut. Comment below. These are the ones that, like, these were okay to work off of because they were cotton and worsted weight, but anytime something like fingering weight comes like this, it just becomes a snarled mess immediately. But yeah, it's 100% cotton, and it's really very soft and lovely. It is a chain ply. I don't know if you can see that. It's not going to focus. A chain ply, which is not something I'm typically used to using. That means instead of being the yarns like twisted, or the strands, the plies being twisted around each other, they're like essentially chained together like a crochet chain, which is a really interesting construction. I don't know that I would have liked it in a garment. Just the cotton, I think it would have been too heavy. Maybe if it was a lighter weight cotton, I could have pulled off a garment in it, because I do love this color so much, and it's got a slight sheen to it, and it's magical, but I think it lends itself really well to this wall hanging, and my daughter's room is gray, black, white, and yellow. So it looks really cute with the birch stick and the yellow and then all the bows. And I love it, but you could definitely do it for non-bow hanging purposes. And I'm going to have a note in the pattern as well. It's going to be written for worsted weight, but because it's not like a sized garment or something, you can definitely play around with gauge and do it in a smaller hook size and a smaller yarn. I'm actually working on an itty bittier one right now in a fingering weight yarn just to see how it looks. Probably put it in my office when it's finally done. This right now is the shared office, but doing a tinier one in fingering weight. That's pretty. And just some leftover Soft and Sleek DK that I had from when I made my homegirl sweater, homegirl pullover, one by Magnated with Love. But this is one of my favorite budget yarn colors. So I think that'll be really cute with some fringe. Hanging up on the wall, I have one more little birch stick left that I think I'm going to put it on, and if not, I'll go find something. But I kind of want to play around and make a bunch of different size ones using just the same stitch count, and just changing the hook size in the yarn will drastically change the size of the wall hanging, because obviously this is the exact same pattern, but way smaller. So if you don't want to make a giant wall hanging, you're going to have options. So that is the Dandelion Drops. It'll be coming out in March. I'll be doing a tester call soon. Pay attention on Instagram if you want to be a tester. And then other design, ooh, there's the cat. Always a cat. I need to turn the intro into this is my podcast and there will be a cat at the door. Let me go deal with that. There is now a lady cat in the room. Ma'am, are you going to be reasonable? Also, this is a black sweatshirt, and you might think that having black cats in a black sweatshirt, it wouldn't be covered in lint, but it is. Okay, ma'am. You didn't want to go play Pathfinder with your father? Can you lay down? Do you guys enjoy seeing the cat interruptions? Because they are plentiful. Again, he's out there sitting by the fire. She could be snuggling with him, but no, she wants to be on a podcast. Oh, what this says. Okay. So, this is not quite a design yet, but it is the next design that is going to be happening, and I just kicked up the yarns today, and I love it so much, so I'm going to show you. Get out of here. Lay down. Lay down, please. Nobody wants to see you, Heiny. Okay. Killing me now. Okay, so this is going to, if all goes to plan, be a shawl design coming out in the spring. I need to swatch after I finish writing up the Dandelion Drops pattern. This is yarn left over from my Anouk pullover, and it is Treasure Goddess yarns. I left the tag on my desk. This tail just won't stay down. Treasure Goddess yarns in the colorway Ghost Ship. So this was just left over. I had 2 skeins left originally from my collab with Treasure Goddess, so I told her I'd put those to good use. And then the rest, except for the red, are all... Ow! Can you pick a spot? Oh my goodness. You good now? You cozy? Excellent. The red one is a chick that knits, I think, with a Z. Knits with a Z. A dyer that I found, I think through an Instagram ad, and I had gotten this one and then a brown mini as well. And this one is 2-ply. I don't know if you can see the difference. And it's a little more tonal than the other ones, but I think it's going to work. I needed a red. The other minis were all from, I think all from the same, with the exception of this one, maybe? Yes, these 5 were from Lane and Lotus in a fall mini skein pack, and then she did a random grab bag pack, and I think that's where I got this one. I bought 2 from Lane and Lotus. So this is Lane and Lotus. And it was, yeah, just the fall mini skein set on her superwash sock base. Which she doesn't have right now, but she's done repeatedly in the fall. And then, yeah, the chick that knits doesn't have her label on the mini skeins, but it was the colorway Bordeaux. And it's a 2-ply. And it's a little bit less yardage than Jen's, but I think it's going to work out okay. I don't know if you've noticed, but I have an obsession with gray and rainbow. So far, we've done the Herrington Marla Day cowl, gray with rainbow mini skeins. Currently working on the Hope and a Future wrap, gray with rainbow mini skeins, in a black, you know, mix it up a little. And then, yeah, apparently I'm doing another shawl design with gray with rainbow mini skeins. I didn't even mean for this to happen. I'm serious. I knew I was going to use this, and I knew I was going to use minis. And then as I was looking at my minis, I was like, obviously we're going with a rainbow. Hey, you're not in the right order. You better get over there. Oh my goodness, that's chaos. Okay. There we go. That's better. In case you were wondering, this adorable yarn bowl is from, you see the tag, Cole Mama Creations. Nicole is a local Connecticut maker that makes these awesome, like, rope bowls. And she hand dyes the cord, rope, whatever you might call it, and yeah, sews the bowls. And it's a knitting bowl because it has this little loop, but it can also be hung on like a wall as a basket. She does backpacks, bags, all sorts of little storage nesting containers. She's amazing. I have a bunch of her stuff and highly recommend. So that is the design bits. That should be probably swatched up, or at least swatched up, if not started by the next podcast. So I'll share more of that with you soon. But I'm very excited about that color combo because apparently that is my color scheme now. I don't have a ton of other stuff. I literally have only 2 other things to show you. So this might be a quick one, which is what I say right before I go into a long, rambly bit. So I was going to wear it, but it's not going to really do it justice because of all the marling and color changing if I'm sitting down. So I'm going to insert some footage at some point of me trouncing about in it, trying to figure out if I like the sizing and fit. But I finished the Lily Pouf by the designer behind Hedgehog, or the dyer behind Hedgehog Fibers. It is a free pattern that you can find on Ravelry and the Hedgehog Fibers website, I believe. Yeah, if you watched episode 25, I was playing a serious game of yarn chicken. Like, it was getting intense. Do I have the bitty tiny yarn? I thought I got everything over here. Good gracious, it's over there. Okay. I don't need to show you. It'll be okay. I finished the whole thing, and I actually made it bigger than I thought I was going to be able to. So that was a huge relief because last time I was freaking out that I was not going to have enough yarn. I ended up with a whole bunch of this cream left over. So if you are making this sweater, how it works out is that I think it's written for 5 skeins, 5 colors, and then you marl them together. And I had 7 colors that I was going to marl. So the marling is you hold, like, color A is the cream, and you hold that double. It's fingering weight held double to make like a DK sweater. So you hold the first color double, and then you do one of the first color and one of the second color. So the yellow and the cream. And then you hold the second color double, so yellow and yellow. And then you go yellow and orange, or whatever colors you're doing. It's A, AA, AB, BB, BC, CC. Does that make any sense? It's a free pattern. Go look at it. But yeah, basically you just keep switching one strand. So cream, cream, cream and yellow, 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 orange and yellow, orange, orange, orange and red, 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 red and purple, 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 different purple, different purple. The marling got a little muddled. That's the word. Muddled. Okay. So marling got a little weird towards the bottom because I was doing weird things and trying to make sure I had enough yarn. I had to keep ripping out and like redistributing the yarn because I wanted to make sure that my sleeves matched each other. And I was weighing, but I've talked about it before. My scale is a postal scale and not a kitchen or jewelry scale, so it's not great with tiny increments, and as stuff gets smaller, it just thinks everything is 5 grams. Though I am looking at it and I know that clearly it is not. So I need to get something better. I keep saying that. But I really like how the sleeves came out. They're tight on the arm up until just after the elbow. They start doing the poof. And I called it a puff sleeve last time. It's a balloon sleeve. Puff sleeve is, you know, Anne of Green Gables, puffy puff sleeve. Balloon sleeve. I think they're super adorable. I don't know if you can see the one spot that I panicked and I thought I was going to run out of orange yarn. Can you see it? Can you see it, guys? It's right here. And I think I actually would have had enough to make it happen, but I threw in some orange from the Hope in a Future wrap because I thought I was going to run out and I wanted to make sure my sleeves were the same. So I threw in like 2 stripes of a different orange, and it's a much paler orange. So we got some like wabi-sabi action going on here. Which is like the Japanese art of, the art of imperfection, basically. So it's looking at this and saying, this is some art. It's imperfect, but it's art and it's beautiful, which I'm telling myself, so I don't have to redo the sleeve. I think I probably could have made it with the orange, but it was really, really close. I don't think you can tell in the whole, maybe you can, but any normal person is not going to notice that. The cat is now building herself a tent under my desk. Things might come a-crashing. But other than that, everything is more or less identical. The sleeves might not be exact, but they're really close. As you've seen me wearing it. It came out a little more oversized than I had intended. I did gauge swatch. And everything I'm about to tell you is, I don't think a reflection on the pattern. I think it's a reflection on me and my inexperience with both knitting sweaters and this whole marling thing. Because in the pattern, she does specify using 50% of your yarn for the body and then 50% for the sleeves, because you have to account for the puff. Whatever amount of yarn it is for your size. And in my mind, because I had more colors, I could use more on the body and less on the sleeves because I had more, I don't know. I had some plan in my mind and it didn't end up working out in reality, and I was doing extreme yarn chicken. But I think what would have been better, if you look at the original project photo and most other photos on Ravelry, this first color goes down to below the neckline. So this cream, I ended up in the yellow by the time I had finished the neckline. I think if I had used more and gone down to about here, I would have had less yarn chicken to play, because I ended up with, I didn't weigh it, but it's probably 40-ish grams or so left of this cream. So I had plenty more, and it doesn't show up in the sleeves or anything anywhere other than just this little cap bit. So I could have definitely bought myself some more yardage and surface area, working that down a little further. So there's not really a note about that in the pattern, but if you look at the picture, you can tell that hers goes much lower. And I don't love how the collar, the cream goes into the yellow. So I think it would have been better if I had carried the cream down much further, maybe not all the way to where the sleeve splits, but at least before where you join in the round. Because you start working this part flat, and then you join for this neckline and work in the round. And I had gauged initially, and did my, swatching, blocked it, the whole thing gauge. But I gauged in the round, and I had forgotten or not realized or not read the pattern in detail enough before gauging that this top part, like I just said, is worked flat up until here. So this whole chunk is worked flat. And my stockinette, when I'm working flat, knitting and then purling the backside, my purl stitches are way, way tighter, so my gauge drastically changes. So this top bit is a little tighter. And then the gauge, I don't know if you can tell because it blocked out pretty well. But if you compare like these stitches to those stitches, it changed a lot. So it kind of started flaring out like once I joined it in like my armpits, which is kind of a weird spot for flaring. I tried to block the top pretty aggressively to make it even. But I think what I needed to have done was to go up a needle size on the flat bit and then back down to what I met gauge with for the body. I made the size, I'm sorry, this is all probably not the most helpful layout, but these are just some things that are coming to mind as I'm looking at and ranting about it. But I made the size medium, which was a 41-inch bust. My gauge changed a little bit, so I ended up with 42 inches. I am about a 37-inch bust, and I think the size small was a 38. So in my mind, I was like, that's going to be kind of tight. I think the pattern calls for 2 to 5 inches of positive ease, but I tend to like, all the positive ease, and everything I make is like 10 inches of positive ease. So this came out to 42, which is 5 inches, but I feel like it's too big for the style. The original sweater is cropped, and it looks like she has maybe 3 inches or so, 2 inches maybe, of positive ease on hers. You can't quite tell, but it's definitely a little bit oversized, not tight, but not like boxy. And this I just feel like is too boxy on me, which is a funny thing to say because I love boxy. But with the puff sleeves and all the color and just the length that it ended up being, I feel like maybe it's too big. I'm asking you guys, honest opinion, looking at that video of me wearing it, do we think I should take back to, see, it would be weird though, because I can't take back for where we joined flat, or I'd have to take the sleeves off and literally do the whole thing. So I took back to here and made it in a smaller needle size. This yellow band would probably puff out, which might be okay along the bust, or it might be really weird. I'm not positive. Like I said, I got to the bottom with all the yarn necessary, or with all the yarn that I had, I was able to get to the bottom. Look at my rainbow stitch markers. Love them. But yeah, I would have a little more scrap yarn, I guess, to make socks or something with, but it wouldn't be a drastic difference. Or I could go back and do waist shaping, which I've never done before, so that would be winging it. I could frog the whole thing and make the size small. I don't want to do that. My current plan is to leave it as is, maybe not sew in the ends and kind of just tie them on the inside and wear it a couple times and see how I feel about it. It is superwash, so it did grow quite a bit, but I don't think it's going to get bigger than it is now. I'm going to make sure I store it folded and not hanging so it doesn't stretch lengthwise. It's a little bit longer than I think I want in the length. It's a nice butt coverage length, which is good, but again, with just the stripes and the width and the balloon sleeve, I feel like it's a little much. So if it's a little much, guys, tell me and I'll fix it. But give me your suggestions on what you would do, because I don't want it to be cropped, but it's almost like a mini dress length at this point, and that's a little much. My other solution to at least the length problem, it wouldn't fix the boxy problem, but this purple band here, this right here is the purple held double, and I'll show you all the yarns in a moment. The purple held double, with itself, it pooled really strangely. So this right here, there's one more bit of purple, a different purple that I added on the bottom just to give a little more length, but I don't like the way, if you compare the other yarns held double, they're nice and like, you know, naturally marled, and you just get a little bit of striping and it just looks nicer, I guess. Like that's the orange on orange. There's not any distinct pooling to it, but this purple, there's like lightning flashy looking things in there. Hi, hair. So I don't love that. So I feel like if I cut out that section, so ripped back to the red and purple, cut out this bit and then just put this bit back on, or I could even graft it if I was feeling really adventurous. But again, I've never done that before. So I think I could cut this purple and then Kitchener it. Is that a thing? The other thing I'm hesitant about cutting it and unraveling is that everything is held double. So then I'm going to have all these little balls of something held double that I would either have to untangle into single strands or have weird purple yarn held double for some project. But yeah, that purple bit is my least favorite part. Just somehow the yarns holding them together just lined up perfectly that it made this flashy bit where everything else is just nice and marly. Overall, I love the colors. I'm so glad I was able to finish it, but now I'm just like, it doesn't look bad. I know it doesn't look bad. I feel like it could be more flattering. But do I care enough to fix it? Would you fix it? And how would you fix it? Because, oof. I do really like the sleeves. That's not my normal sleeve style. Normally I'm, you know, boxy fit with a tight sleeve, which I think why this is throwing me off, because it's boxy with a giant sleeve, and I just feel like an actual balloon. I don't know. But look how cute those are. Those are so cute. And the purple didn't do that weird thing on the sleeve. Just on that big body stretch. So that's my Pouf sweater. I'm gonna wear it. I'm gonna wear it, guys. It's gonna be good. So the yarns that I used for this one, in case you are looking for them, I was able to find most of them last time and I linked them in the show notes, so I'll do that again. The cream on the top is Lane and Lotus again in Meteor Shower. Then the, oh, now you want to leave? Well, now you're stuck in here. The yellow is, or all four of the next colors were a pack, a kit, not a pack, by Whip Yarn on Etsy. The yellow is In My Heyday. Man, you cannot burrow into that shelf. The orange is Pumpkin Spice by Whip Yarn. The red is Set Ablaze. I think that's focusing. And then the purple is 4 and 20. This is all not folded the same way. And then the other two purples are actually the same color, but two different dye lots by Silver Key Stitches. So one was a little more plummy, and then one was like almost black. So this is one, and then this is one held double. No, it's better to show you the sleeve. All right, so this was one held double, and then this was the other. So it's the same yarn, but obviously very different dye lots, because this one almost looks black, but it is a very deep purple. These are Bordeaux by Silver Key Stitches, who is also local, as is Lane and Lotus. So that is my Pouf sweater. So many mixed feelings on that. I don't know. I don't know. Comment below, because I don't know. So the only other thing I wanted to show you, I can't remember if I showed in the last podcast or if I showed it in the Box of Socks 2020 video that was last week. If you didn't already catch that, I'll show all the socks that I made in 2020. But I started another pair of socks, my first of this year. They're at kind of an awkward place to show where I'm turning the gusset, but these are the Bonfire socks. It is a free pattern recently released by Potter and Bloom, and you can find it up on her blog. It's written for one size, but they're easy to adapt. These are going to be really cozy and I think really well fitting. So I'm just at the turn the gusset point, got my slip stitch heel flap. I made it absolutely massive this time because I think I have really wide heels, and all of my sock weird fitting socks has been heel and gusset issues. So I'm still trying to get that perfect for my fit. But these are Patons Croy in the colors. I just had the labels. Patons Croy, the main color is Patons Croy FX in the colorway Clover Colors, and the heels, toes, and cuff are Patons Croy. I've been calling this linen. It's the color flax. No wonder I couldn't find it when I tried to link it in the last one. The gray is flax. That makes more sense. I'll have to make sure I go back and change that in the previous links for the socks situation. This is what they look like. I'm using just one 50-gram skein. If you want to make a full size adult pair of socks, you need two 50-gram skeins, but I think I can get away, although I think I can get away with one. I might have to make really long gray toes, which sounds weird. So I might get down to most of the foot and then switch over, make the other sock, and then just make the toes long enough. I did make the leg a little bit longer than average for me on a 50-gram sock. And I'm not using my stitch markers and counting because I can count the ridged. There's like a ribbing row. I love how this is working up in this color. I didn't realize how rainbow it was going to be, but I think do you want to focus? Do you? It wants to look at those bows back there. Those are some good looking bows. Come on, buddy. Nope, not happening. Okay, so there's a ribbing row that adds a really beautiful texture and I think really makes the colors pop, because if you look at the bottom of the foot, I don't love the colors as much there in just stockinette, but I think they look really awesome in this. I think 3 rows, it's a free pattern, 3 rows of knitting and then 1 row of knit purl ribbing. So it creates a really nice texture, but there's a couple rows back here where I think I only did 2 rows in between, so it's slightly different, but it's a sock, it's okay. So yeah, I'm doing this in between the designing stuff as I usually do with my socks, my Take on the Go project. I talk all about that in the Box of Sock video as well. These, because Patons Croy is a fingering weight yarn, but it's a little bit more towards sport weight, I'm using a size 1.5 needle instead of my usual 1, which is I think, how many millimeters? 2.5 millimeter. Have to check every time. 2.5 millimeter, and I'm making a 56 stitch count instead of my usual 60 or 64. So those are Bonfire socks. That's about all I have to say about them. So this, I think, is a much shorter episode. Yeah, I'm not even sure if that sweater was a whip or a FO, because I may change it, but that's all I have. This is the only thing I've acquired, and I don't really have anything else to tell you about, guys, so that's going to be it. So thank you for tuning in for episode 26. Thank you, Strand of Hair, for not being a follower. I appreciate you guys being here. I hope you enjoyed some of that, and if you have sweater suggestions for me, please do tell, because I don't want you just to tell me that it looks good. I want you to tell me what you actually think, and then I will probably stubbornly not do that thing. But I would appreciate the feedback. Thank you for coming. Thank you for hanging out with me, and I hope you had a nice cup of something warm and cozy or a project in hand, and I will catch you next time in episode 27. Thanks, guys.